this water in the morning and letting my body learn.
Welcome to Scars Can Talk, where pain finds purpose, wounds become wisdom, and testimony become tools for transformation. This is a place for real people, real stories, and real healing. Every scar tells a story, every story carries a lesson, and every testimony has the power to change a life. I'm Mama J.
I'm Kendrick J, and this is Scars Can Talk. We're here. We finally made it.
We've made it.
Y'all, we've been working on this for quite some time now, right, Mom?
Yes.
I think it's been about, 3 years, something like that?
Yes, it's been a little longer than that, but, yeah.
And we finally here. And the exciting part is people been waiting on this. You know, people been waiting on this. People been asking. Yes. I know you've been getting some feedback and some questions in regards to Scars Can Talk, and we finally launching it off.
Yes, the name itself is powerful.
It's powerful.
Yes.
It's powerful. It's a complete blessing to be here. I want to start off by saying thank you, for putting this together and making this all possible, and and putting the name together and all the work that you put into this. For even helping us get to this point, and doing this and allowing me to be a part of this, it's a blessing to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. But I give all praises to God.
Amen.
He's behind all of this.
Amen. So. Amen. Now I know because you are aware that I had a platform before this No Cap podcast, and people was wondering where I've been and. Because I kind of just disappeared for about a year, and so I know people wondering where you been, where you been. I haven't been on social media for a while, and so I'm excited, and we'll get to that. But Mo, can you give us a little bit about what Scars Can Talk, this platform, and the direction that we going? Give a little detail on what this is about.
Sure. Well, Scars Can Talk is about all phases of life because, it's just not the penetration of a scar that we experience in life. Scars can, be mental. It can be emotional. It can be, anything that you have experienced in life that cuts you deep, So, we're about, coming and sharing your story, and, wanting to find out what was your turning point of your healing.
Right.
How did you go through that, and how did God take you out of it?
Yeah.
Pull you out of it?
Yeah. And that's beautiful. That's what I tell people also, how you overcame adversity. I think one of the most important things for Scars Can Talk is people sharing their testimony. So somebody else that may be dealing with that similar issue, be going through the same thing, a traumatic time, and don't know which direction to turn, don't know what to do about the current situation. Not only to see that they're not the only one that has experienced something like that, but also to see what others have done to overcome that,
Right.
And I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited about being here. And today, I feel like what better way to start the podcast and launch the podcast than testimony,
Absolutely.
So that'll be the first episode today. Me giving you guys my testimony and sharing my testimony in a very detailed way. Parts that a lot of people who know me don't know. And parts of me that I've hidden for so long that I'm willing to share, and I'm happy to share, honestly. One day I remember talking to you on the phone, and this was just the other day, and you said, "Are you gonna share everything?" And I said, "Yeah." And the funny part about that is, I know, right, when I came to do this, right? And I decided I'm going to give my testimony. I'm not going to hold anything back. That it was probably going to be people that I don't talk to anymore after this, and also it'd probably be people that reach out to me. But I'm at such peaceful place in my life, and I'm happy with who Kendrick has become. That I'm really not worried about that because I'm in a more peaceful place in my life than I ever been. Right, and a lot of things that I've learned in my experience in life is to accept things, right, and especially the things that we can change and continue pushing forward. It's about the people that I can reach, the people that I can help, and if that's not meant for certain people, then all I could do is pray for them and wish them the best.
Right. Yep.
So, I had to take off my shades for this.
All right, we're gonna get right into it.
So I'm gonna try to go far as back as I can remember as a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people all the time because time has changed. I was a kid, I grew up. I'm 37, so I grew up in a time where kids played outside. That's not a thing. That's not a thing no more. So we played outside. I even remember back when Dad was working at American Heart. He used to come home with them balloons, and we'd get them balloons and have water balloon fights and in the yard and stuff because we was kids, and I think when you talk about my childhood, I had a childhood of a kid, right?
Yes.
I stayed outside. I was riding bikes. It was hard to get us in when we was outside. My cousins. You used to go get my cousins, and we'd go outside and play and be outside for hours. Lo and behold, we get to a pool, a swimming pool, or something like that. And I feel like I carried that, that inner child in me for such a long time, and a lot of things that was important to other people wasn't important to me because of my childhood. So I fast forward. That's elementary school. I fast forward. Kind of get to let's back up. So also in elementary school and growing up, what I really love, Mama, is that at a young age, I remember we moved to Garland, right? And I believe when we moved to Garland, it really made my friendships with other people very diverse, right? I had black friends, I had white friends, I had Hispanic friends, which I benefited from, right? Because I can create a great relationship with anybody, no matter their nationality, no matter their race, no matter where they came from, which I feel like is a quality to be able to do that.
Yes, it is.
And so I appreciate you doing that for us, and making that possible, because I think that is a big part of why I am who I am today. We get to Garland, right? And by this time, a lot of people, if I used to suck my pinky, right?
Yeah.
I used to suck my pinky, and it created a gap in my teeth, right? It created a gap in my teeth, and at first it wasn't so bad. I think not in elementary so much. I think in middle school is when it started to be pointed out, right? That my teeth wasn't like everybody else's teeth. My teeth was different, to where other kids would speak about it and stuff like that. And I think that's when I kind of went into a shell, right? And I kind of, I was trying to find out, why am I different than everybody else? Why is people making fun? Why are my teeth like this and their teeth like that? Although I do know I was sucking my pinky, but I don't know. I didn't know why I was sucking my pinky, right? Because it wasn't something that I just, chose to do. Like I woke up and said, hey, I want to start sucking my pinky. It wasn't like that. It was something that just happened. So I started to get picked on about my teeth, and I started to go into this shell, and I remember when I was riding the bus, right? Because I used to ride the school bus, and kids would talk about my teeth on the bus, but in my head, I'm like, okay, as long as, because I had friends at school, right? I was popular. Because I was funny. I was a class clown, stuff like that, and we'd get into the reason why that happened. But I knew that once I get to school, everything would be okay, right? So I knew that, if I get through this bus ride, once I get to school, I get to see my friends, I get to be with my friends, and everything will be fine. And what that created was a way that caused me to learn how to hide my emotions, right? Mm-hmm. So now I'm creating a behavior of hiding how I truly feel, and not speaking about it, dealing with it. And I think that caused it caused some character defects in the future. Not communicating what I'm going through, and like I say, that's why it's so important to do a self-evaluation, to look at even way back then how something that had happened to me created a behavior that carried all the way into my adulthood, and so I was a person that hid my emotions. I was a person that kind of didn't speak about how I was feeling or share how I felt honestly. But I got to school and everything was fine, and that was my mindset as long as I get to school. I felt that made me feel very insecure, right? Yeah. That made me feel, because of my teeth were messed up, it made me feel very insecure. It made me feel like I wasn't attractive. It made me feel like, I wasn't one of the cool kids, and so now, we get to middle school and I'm like, okay, I want to be cool, and that's where I feel like the class clown became even bigger. That's when I started to really look for validation from my peers, not really being who I am, but being what I feel like everybody else like. And it took off. It took off. That's who I was. I was the class clown. Everybody knew that I was the class clown. When people see me walking in class, they know that's Kendrick. He funny. He probably fits cut up, and it created a behavior that was hard for me to get rid of, because once you have that class clown on your back and you do something for so long, that becomes you, especially to everybody else. And I became the class clown. But little did I know, becoming the class clown created even more bad situations, because like I said, I was being who I felt like people wanted me to be, right? Mm-hmm. So we get to high school, and I'm the class clown. I'm real popular now. And by the way, I did get braces. My mom hooked me up. I got braces. I'm feeling myself now. My teeth straight, and I'm fit to be a freshman in high school. But at this time, my teacher said something to me. What stopped me from being a class clown in middle school? My teacher said something to me. She said, "Kendrick, if you keep on doing what you're doing, all your friends gonna be a freshman, and you still gonna be in middle school, right?" Mm-hmm. And it's something about that was like, oh wait, that can't happen. Right. Right. So I'm like, okay, I got to get it together. I did get it together, and I made it to my freshman in high school. But even though I was a class clown, it was something still missing. Was I popular? Was I known? Everybody knew who I was. I was cool with everybody, even people that didn't get along with each other. They was friends with me. I got along with everybody. It wasn't anybody in school that I would say probably say that they didn't like Kendrick or they had a problem with me. But it carried through, and I started hanging. That caused me to start looking for validation from the wrong crowd. And when I started looking for validation from the wrong crowd, and I wanted to be a cool kid so bad that I did what I felt like the cool kids was doing. And that's when I started. That's when we started skipping school, Because these other guys, remind you, I got made fun of my clothes and everything, right? I got made fun of because I didn't care about stuff like that. Like I said, I was a kid. That stuff didn't matter to me, you know.
See, that part I don't understand because you dress well.
Well,
So when you mentioned that before, I never understood like why that would even happen because y'all didn't wear hand-me-downs.
right.
So,
Now, and the reason why is because,
nothing is wrong with hand-me-downs. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So
and you know, I think it was more of a name brand thing, and I never been a person that was into the name brand. So, you know, I didn't have to have Jordans. You know, I didn't have to have Nikes. I didn't have to have, you know, I didn't have to have that. You know, and I think at that particular time, that was big, right? Who got the nicest Jordans? Who got the new Jordans that just came out? And when I was in school, you know, it was a thing called Fat Form, right? The kids that's wearing Jordans, if they see you wearing Fat Forms, they laugh and they like, wait a minute, you got, you know. But then you had the kids that had the Fat Forms and they was rocking them. You know, they had the Fat Forms with the fat shoelaces in them. And we had that era where everybody was getting different color shoelaces and stuff like that. But I wasn't a kid that was into really the name, you know. And I'm pretty much still like that today. You know, if I like something, regardless of the name, you know, I like it.
pretty much the same.
Yeah, that's probably where I got it from. Probably where I got it from. But yeah, I started hanging around the wrong people, skipping school. You know, I can't stress to you how much when I was getting in trouble, because I got into a lot of trouble as a juvenile, right? And how much of an impact music had on the choices I was making. Music had a very big impact on the choices I was making, right? Because I wanted to be like, to me, like I said, in school, I wanted to be like the cool kids, right? So now I'm looking at these music videos. This is back when they had 106 in Park, and they showed music videos a lot more on TV. Today, you know, we got social media, so but they showed, you know, music videos on TV, and I wanted to be like my favorite rapper. I wanted to be like my favorite entertainer. I wanted to be, back then, this was when Ja Rule was big, and you had Exhibit and 50 Cent, was in his early stages of his career, and I wanted to be like them guys.
Yeah.
You know, and they portrayed an image like this almost like a thug mentality, like a image of doing what they want to do when they want to do it. You know, they was the big dogs, and that's what I wanted to be like, and so it has such a big impact on my life and who I made myself become, not who I was, but who I portrayed to be, right? The character that I was playing. Perpetrate. There you go. I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is. And the crazy part about it, you would tell yourself you something so long to the point that you start believing.
Start believing it.
Right? Because I was talking to somebody not too long ago, and I was telling them, you know, I never grew up in no project. You know, I don't know what it's like to live in the hood. Have I been to the hood? Yeah, I've been to the hood, but have I ever had to live in the hood and that was my living situation? And no, I ain't never experienced it, right? Walking around claiming blood because my favorite color was red, but a lot of us did. Yeah. You know, claiming a gang because that was my favorite color, and I think a lot of, especially when I was growing up, if your favorite color was blue, then mean you was a Crip. If your favorite color was red, then that mean you was a Blood. And it was such a influenced behavior, you know, that was gained through what I watched, what I consumed, what I spent my energy on, the people that I was around. And that's why I know now how important it is to watch the company you keep, because it does have an impact on you, you know, and you got to be very mindful for those who have kids, you know, who your kids hanging around, what they watching, what they listening to, because I know from experience that it played a major role, in my life, and although this is all going on, Mom, I still don't feel like I'm that guy, right? I still don't feel like I got validation from certain people, right? That think I'm cool, that think I'm funny, that ask me to hang out, that ask me to come over and kick it with them, but I feel like something is still missing, right? And I remember I was in North Dallas at the barbershop, right? And I was actually with a couple of my friends that I got into a lot of trouble with, and we was at a barbershop. I believe it was off of like Royal and Abrams or something like that, in North Dallas. And I'm standing at the barbershop, and I seen somebody that I went to school with that lived a homosexual lifestyle, right? And everybody knew, right? Everybody knew in school. But he was popular too. He was on the step team. He was a good athlete. And he seen me and he invited me out to a club, right? And as a matter of fact, my brother was staying in some, is it Bristol Square?
Bristol Square.
Yeah, he was staying in some apartments out there, and I was actually over his house that day. And because the barbershop was close to where he stayed, and I ended up going to the club that day, and when I went to the club, I remember receiving a type of attention that I've never received in my life. It was I felt like almost like I was a celebrity. Like, and I remember somebody coming to me and they was like, "What you doing here? You shouldn't be here." And I think I was loving the fact that I was finally that guy. I found a place where I'm that guy, and I may not feel attractive at school, or I might not feel attractive in other places, but when I come here, I feel like, I'm the guy. I'm the most attractive guy walking around. I feel like all eyes on me, and I think there was a yearning for that attention, and I ended up falling in love with that, and I started being a part of that community, right? I started being a part of that community, and let's go back, because some people say, they know my story. They ask, well, do you think you being molested when you was a child has anything to do with you involving yourself in that community? And I don't know. That's my honest answer. I don't know if that had anything to do with me involving myself in that community, honestly. But what I do know is I did love the attention. I did love that they were crazy about me, and that was a place where I felt of importance. I felt like I was like sitting on a throne. I felt like I had power when I walked into those establishments, in those environments. What's amazing to me is, and I don't regret it, right? I don't regret it. I don't regret it. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about that too. But I don't regret it at all. But that took me down a whole nother deep hole, right? It took me down a deep hole, which can be a very deep place. And I think all this stems from not being happy with who I was, right? And searching in all the wrong place for validation, searching in all the wrong place from love outside, right? Because I had no doubt that my family loved me. I had no doubt that my mom, my dad, my brother, and especially my grandma. I had no doubt that it was love, but it's a different type of love. It's a different type of love that you look for when you look for love from your brothers, right? And when I say your brother, I'm talking about like your friends or a girlfriend or a companion or, I tell people all the time, I say, going on vacation with your family and going on vacation with your spouse, your significant other, it's a different experience. Just like then, it was a different experience. I think I was just searching for that, and just found it in the wrong place, so high school, now I'm out, I'm going to these clubs, I'm involved myself in this community, I'm out, what they say outside, I'm outside,
I think the most difficult part for me, with you in that lifestyle is I never seen it coming.
Yeah.
You graduated from high school and you moved out.
Mm-hmm.
You moved out. You got your first apartment.
Yeah.
And that's when it hit me in my face. And
Regalbrook Apartments.
Yes.
Regalbrook Apartments. Yeah.
And I was crushed.
Yeah.
I was crushed because I just didn't want that for my baby.
Yeah.
So.
And if you could, who I was at home and who I was outside of home was two completely different people. I've always been respectful, right? I've always, it was a different person, because I know that, because let's go back to high school, right? When I was hanging out with the wrong group and I was in and out of juvenile, we broke into those houses. I went to youth village, which was an amazing experience. I regret the things that I did. I don't regret the experience, right? Because I feel like the experience helped me become who I am today. Youth Village was really helpful. It was really helpful. But I was doing things that wasn't of my character, right?
Right.
It wasn't of my character. And you can tell because who I really was, right, and who I was at home, even my best friend Kevin, who I was at Kevin's house, who I was even around Tom, I wasn't that around a certain group of people. What I was becoming who I was around. So if I was around Justin and them, I would act like Justin and them. And if I was around my other homeboys, KTZ, Dex and them, I'll act more like them. If I was around my Hispanic homeboys, I act more like, so I had no identity. Yeah. I had no identity. And so we got there, in and out of juvenile, which was
I think you had an identity, you just had not discovered that.
Yeah, I can say that. But for so long.
Yeah.
For so long, and then being out in the clubs, right? Now I'm introduced to the club life, right? And I'm going now. I'm going to these clubs. I'm experiencing the nightlife, right? So I start drinking. Never really been a smoker, so smoking was my thing. All my buddies did, they was smoking. Everybody smoked, but I was never a smoker. So this is when I started drinking, and I actually started at a young age, cause beer pong. So I started probably back like around 17, 18, going to Justin House, playing beer pong, and I used to hate beer, but you drink it enough, you'll learn to like it. Mm-hmm. And so playing beer pong, and that's how I started. And I was a fun drunk. Everybody used to love being around Kendrick when he had been drinking because I was funny. Typically, I was quiet. When I'm drinking, I'm more outspoken. I was laughing a lot. I made other people laugh, and people who've been knowing me for a long time know that I love music. I get that liquid courage, and then I just start rapping. I'll rap in front of anybody, anywhere, any place, anytime. And I was good at it. I was really good at rapping, and people loved that version of me. I started drinking. I kept drinking, and I started to love that version because I felt like the Kendrick now that everybody like is the intoxicated version. I felt like I was boring if I wasn't. I was a boring person if I wasn't drinking. You know. So now, every time I go around friends, every time I go around people, every time I go to an event, every time I go, anything that I do, I make sure I have something to drink. And it was fun until it wasn't. Right? It was fun until it wasn't.
It wasn't fun for me either.
Right.
It wasn't fun for me.
And it got really bad really quick. It got really bad really quick. It started to become a very dark place. You know, and I was at a point to where my back was against the wall because I didn't know what to do because I felt I wasn't happy when I was sober. But I didn't feel happy when I was drunk. It became angry. And it was a transition because I used to be a fun drunk. But it got to a point to where I became an angry drunk. And I couldn't put my finger on why. I didn't know why I was getting angry. I didn't know what was causing this. It's like now when I consume alcohol, I was against everybody. I had a chip on my shoulder. It took me to a really bad place.
Yeah, I witnessed some of those moments where you would be angry and lashing out. Yeah. I didn't like that part of me.
And you know what you told me one time? I believe we was in the car and you said, Kendrick, and I think that you had recently seen me and I was intoxicated and you said, You're not even you when you're under the influence. It's not even, you don't even look like yourself. You know, and the truth is I wasn't me. Because who I am under the influence goes completely out the window. I'm the exact opposite of who I really am. And so it became bad. It became real bad.
Even some of the position that it put me in, because you would have been on a drinking binge, and your jobs, you would put your jobs at risk, which led me to want to do something to help save your job. You remember that?
Yes.
Happened multiple times.
Yes.
Yeah, I would call in and give a reason why you was out, and because you make good report with your supervisor, and you're the type of person that your supervisor and manager, they loved you. Yeah. They really cared for you, and they wanted you to be a part of the team. So they worked with you, and they became to know Mama J. Yeah,
they did.
Yeah. So I just wanted to.
Yeah, and that's true. I've messed up a lot of relationships, a lot of opportunities, a lot of relationship. I don't have no good about my drinking, and I tell people all the time. You got some people who, they got stories when they've been drinking where they had a good time or they have good memories. For me, I don't really have good stories about when I was under the influence because the results was always bad. It was always pain. It was always hurt. It was always destruction. It was always losing something, losing my job, losing my car, wreck. So let's talk about how bad this got right before we start getting into the good. All right. So now we talking about my addiction. We done been through elementary. Trying to find myself. Felt like now I'm out. I got my braces, my teeth straight now. I feel like I'm the man. I've been introduced to the nightlife. I'm drinking. I've become an alcoholic. Right. I'm drinking every day. And it was time. I know you remember this because you used to always send me a picture of the car. And when me and my brother got into it, we was at an after hours in 1919 right off Riverfront, right at Fuel City, and we was leaving, and me and him have words, and I got in the driver's seat of the car, intoxicated, and I drove off, and my brother was trying to stop me. He was hanging outside of the car as his feet was dragging, and I just hit the gas down the Riverfront while he was hanging on the car. And he was able to get in there and reach the steering wheel, and when he grabbed the steering wheel, the car went to the right and hit a telephone pole.
To get that phone call from DPD.
Yeah, how did that go? Because I never heard your part on like how was it when you got that call? What was you doing? Like what?
Well, it was like after 2:00 in the morning. I'm asleep. Your dad and I was in the bed. We asleep, and to get that call, even when I heard, this is Dallas Police, officer such. My heart dropped. And do you know a Kendrick Johnson? I said, yes, that's my son. But he been in an accident. And my nerves turned inside out. I didn't know what to expect after that. And they actually said it was pretty bad. And that they was, paramedics, I had to be taken to ER. They actually thought Reginald was dead. When we got there, both of y'all was, I think, sitting on, when we got to the hospital, when we seen the car, oh my gosh, the car was total.
I'm gonna see if we got a picture, because I'm gonna put that up. If we got a picture of that, so they can see the car.
Yeah, but it was a very, nerve-wracking, but praying the whole time, on my way to the hospital. But yeah, that was a real wake-up call that my son really needed help. We talked. I stayed in his ear. Get some help. And he was like, he would always tell me that I can't do it. I can't drink. I'm not going to do it, because I will always say, okay, well, you know what this means, right? Some people can be social drinkers. You're not one of those.
Right.
You just not one of them. It triggers something about alcohol, or the ingredients in alcohol triggers something in you, and you have no control.
Right.
You don't have you never had that limit where you could just shut it off.
Right.
So that.
And so what I remember waking up, right, and I remember seeing you and Dad, and I remember grabbing my back, and because I think I was sitting on the curb, and I tried to get up, and I just fell back and grabbed my back, and I think I passed out. And I remember waking back up, and I believe I was in ICU, and I woke and I opened my eyes, and the whole family was just looking down at me.
Yep.
And so, that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough pain. Even that in my addiction, that you would think, you could have lost your life.
Well, even going even back farther, we can go back even before that happened. I remember you coming home and you told me that you had been to a recording studio. Tell a little bit about that. About you say you felt yourself, life leaving your body.
Oh yeah. So I was in at a recording studio over there off of what's that? Park Lane. And it was a lot more drinking than recording going on at the studio, and I remember I was drinking, and I got to the point to where I would drink whatever had alcohol in it, and I'm drinking, I'm mixing alcohol, and I'm drinking, and I woke up in the shower, in the tub, and water was running down on me, and the people that was in the studio, they said they thought I died, because I used the restroom on myself.
You were foaming?
Yeah, I was foaming at the mouth. They thought I wasn't going. They thought I was gone. Even then, even after that, that's still.
I think the really upsetting part for me with that is when I asked you, nobody called paramedics.
Yeah.
Nobody called for help.
Mm-mm.
And you was alcohol poisoned.
Mm.
And everybody just sit there and not surrender help.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was, man, it was so many times where alcohol has caused me to put myself in situations that could have ended my life multiple times, right? And it's so cliche to tell my story, because a lot of times we talk about the breaking point, and you tell the breaking point, and some people hear my breaking point like, that wasn't that bad, and we're gonna get to that, but it's everything that has transpired up to that point, that was a breaking point, but so many things happened prior to that, and it was a collective of things that that got me to the point that I had gotten to before I had seeked help. I'm waking up outside, now we got, and a lot of people don't even know it. When No Cap Podcast, right? When I was doing No Cap Podcast, I was trending in the right direction. Numbers is going good. I'm getting opportunities. I'm getting hosting opportunities. This is at a time that I'm deep in my addiction. I'm a for real alcoholic at this time, but nobody knows it. Nobody really knows how bad it really is. And the people that I'm connecting with now, they don't really know me like that. They know what they see as far as podcast goes. They know as far as social media, but do they know that version of me, right? Who I turn into once I'm under the influence? They had no idea. It was something that I was hiding from until I couldn't hide it no more. Because like I say, who I was when I wasn't drinking and who I was when I started drinking is two completely different people. So I get these hosting jobs. I'm hosting. I felt, of course, I feel like I need alcohol to host. I feel like I need alcohol to be funny. I feel like I need to entertain, and I'm getting so intoxicated. I'm not even finishing the hosting job. But I don't know why they kept calling back. I kept on getting opportunities, right? But I'm too intoxicated to be doing anything at a certain point, you know. I was hosting an event in South Dallas at Emerald City. At Emerald City. And this was a time, because I believe something real bad had happened. This was the time I had told myself I'm not drinking no more. And I had stopped drinking for maybe about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. I got this hosting job. I went to go do the hosting. And I think you remember I went with this Hispanic girl. She came and picked me up that day.
Yeah.
And I went with them. Well, she's a bartender. So all my drinks was free.
She promised me she was going to have your back and not gonna make sure that you wasn't drinking.
No, I was getting free drinks. That day, as many, I didn't remember what happened after a certain point. I don't remember being there. I don't remember what I was doing. I don't remember who I talked to, who I seen, what I said. And I remember waking up, and it probably was about 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, on the side of the curb, outside, across the street from the building, with my phone on my chest, and I'm just asleep on the curb outside. Yeah. Got up, called an Uber, went home, and continued to drink. One of the scariest things that happened to me was not even eating, just straight drinking. And there was one point I was laying in my bed, and I couldn't even think about the last time I had a meal. Come to find out, it had been 5 days since I ate a meal.
Oh my God.
5 days since I had a meal. I wouldn't do nothing but drink.
Yeah, guys, some of this he's shared quite a bit of his life with me, but some of this I have not heard before. So this is kind of a surprise to me too.
Yeah. So people would literally bring me food to eat because they knew I wasn't eating. I would put it in the microwave. I would never touch it. I was getting into accident after accidents, wrecking cars, 2 DWIs. Now we face to get into the addiction part. The disease is so powerful. Even all that, and it still wasn't enough for me to say, you know what, I have a problem.
That's it.
And the reason why is because I was a person that was able to get a good job, like you were saying. I was a person that can get a nice apartment, right?
Right.
I can get these things, and my apartment's gonna be laid. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna have the TVs on the wall. It's gonna be a nice apartment.
Right.
So I felt like I wasn't an alcoholic or an addict because look what I'm doing.
I can still accomplish
things. Mm-hmm. But what I was failing to realize is the things that I would accomplish, I was losing because of alcohol.
Right.
So there was no foundation. I would only gain it just to lose it to alcohol. I've been through that for like 15 years. It was a cycle. Mm-hmm. It was to stop drinking, get the job, get the car, get the apartment, furnish it, get it how you want it, drink it all the way. Drink it all the way. Now I'm at rock bottom. I have nothing. I lost my job. Give me a job. Get the car. Get the apartment. Furnish it. Get it how you want it. Drink it all the way. Lose everything again.
Wow.
I did that so many times, and to the point to where it's like I'm not accomplishing anything. I'm just getting to the point that I've already been, and I'm losing. I'm not growing. I'm not getting better. Right. I'm just getting to where I was at before, just to do the same thing I did last time. It was a vicious cycle. It was a vicious cycle.
It was almost like you was like in competition with yourself. It's nothing. Mm-hmm. I get another job. I get another partner. Mm-hmm. I'll do this again. I've done it before.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I was staying. I got my apartment. I was staying over there, right across from Farmers Market. Had a couple of bad experiences. Just lost my job at First United Bank. And so I really liked my apartment. I wanted to keep my apartment. Like, oh, here we go again. Back to square one. And this is the part where I think the enemy was trying to take me out. I feel like the enemy was trying to X me out. This is the part where I feel like he was on my coattail. And it has been so bad for me that I was urinating blood and still drinking.
Oh, no.
Still drinking. That didn't even stop me. At this point, I'd have lost my job. I got by 1 month because I got some help with my rent. Next month come, I'm like, what I'm supposed to do? So I'm like, okay, money getting low. So I can't buy alcohol like I want to. So now I'm beatboxing it up. They got these drinks called beatbox that's cheap. So I'm buying 4 or 5 beatboxes, which ain't same difference because the money's still being spent. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm just not spending it all at once. Instead of spending $50, I'm buying beatbox after beatbox. It's the same thing, mm-hmm. But you can't tell an alcoholic that. I'm being smart about it because I'm getting a beatbox to where my mindset was at, right? Mm-hmm. I think I'm being smart about it. I'm not, because I'm getting a beatbox instead of getting a bottle. And I'm sitting in that apartment. Now I have no job. I'm trying to figure this out, but I'm kind of giving up though. I'm starting to realize that this is about to come to an end.
I remember you calling me that day, and you're like, "I don't want to live anymore."
Yeah, I was so tired, and the reason why I say that the enemy was on my coattail is because people would come showing up to my door with bottles of alcohol. I would need a ride somewhere. People would call me and say, "You need a ride?" I had to go to the DMV. "You need a ride to the DMV?" "Oh yeah, I'll come take you." I hop in the car, grab that bottle out the back seat. So now the alcohol coming to me. I feel like the enemy was trying to take me out.
And always trying to take you out.
And it was rough. It was rough at this point. I was at the point of giving up. I was tired. I was tired of the cycle. I was tired of going through what I was going through. I was tired of acting like it's such a burden because I was so lost, didn't know who I was, being somebody else for other people, being somebody else for the podcast, hosting, going in front of these people, acting like everything is okay, everything is good, everything is fine in front of these people that I'm hosting, and they see me on these interviews, and it's all a facade. Because I wasn't okay. I wasn't happy. I wasn't okay. Didn't know who I was. Torn between the two. It was all fake. And it was tough. Now, let's talk about the breaking point. The breaking point before we start getting to the good, right? The good is on the way. We're right around the corner from the good, right? So let's talk about the breaking point. The breaking point, I went out the night before. Heaven and I believe Tiana came over to the apartment to go swimming. I went out and got drunk, right? Came back, they was gone. I went to sleep, woke up, but I still feel alcohol from the night before. Remind you, I had a Flacco Black custom chain made that was stolen shortly before this incident I'm about to speak about, and it was stolen out of my restroom. So I already felt hurt because I felt like if I let you into my house, why would you steal from me? You know, I'm a person that I wouldn't steal from nobody. And so my chain was gone. Then I get up, I look for my laptop, and I can't find my MacBook. And I got angry. I started breaking stuff. I started breaking all my decorations in my kitchen. I started throwing stuff everywhere. There's glass everywhere. I'm upset. And I have been so intoxicated these last few days that it took me a long time to call you. And because if you say, well, who been over there? I couldn't tell you. Because my days was running into each other. I don't know who done been over here. I don't know who I done seen. I can't even tell you who I think have took it. Because it's been a whole blur. It's been a blur. I don't remember nothing. It's people that was calling me, telling me they seen me last night that I don't even remember seeing. Or where I was at. So I get the courage to call you and I tell you about it. I'm like, somebody stole my laptop. Yeah. And then I hear Heaven in the background say, I put that laptop under the couch. And look under the couch and there it is. That's when I said, okay, I need some help. I need to get some help. And the thing about breaking your own stuff, you get time to think about it. When you got to clean it up. When I'm sitting there sweeping up all this glass, I'm sitting there thinking the whole time. And you walk through the door, and you looked at me and said, Kendrick, well, what you want to do? And I looked at you, and I said, I need some help. And you sent me the link to the Man of Nehemiah, and that's when my life changed. The Man of Nehemiah means so much to me. So, that's the best thing that ever could have happened to me. So, you send me the link to Man of Nehemiah. Come to find out, it's right down the street from where I was staying at the time.
Right down the street.
So you tell me, you say, look, I want to take you up there tomorrow so you can go see it. So by the time we went up there, I had already been on the phone with Jason. Shout out to Jason at the Men of Nehemiah.
Yeah, shout out to Men of Nehemiah.
Yeah, for sure.
And Women of Nehemiah.
And so I had already spoke to Jason and got put on the waiting list. But you being you was like, oh, okay, we still going up there anyway. So we went up there, and so Jason was busy, he couldn't see it, so we decided to go out to eat. And
now this is how God works.
we eating.
Now he's on the waiting list.
I just got put on.
Just got on put on the waiting list, and we go out to eat. While we're out to eating.
Before the food even came out, I believe. I don't even think the food had came yet. I get a phone call from Jason. And Jason tells me, we have a bed available. Are you ready? I say, yes, sir. Can you be here tomorrow at 1? Yes, sir. I got to Nehemiah. I felt the love. I felt the love. And just like I was talking about love from a family, right? I think what people got to understand, it's different. It's different types of love. The love you get from a woman is different from the love that you get from a man. So when you got a brother loving a brother, it's a different type of love, right?
Right.
So I felt it. And I felt it that this was the place. So I'm in there, I'm waiting. You got Captain Lance coming to me, speaking to me. You got Major Rand coming up to me, Major Tommy. So they coming to you, they introducing themselves, and they letting you know, brother, you're not alone. We wanted you. We wanted you. You said, you looked at me. You said, you think you can do this? I think we took a picture that day, right before we left. And you said, you think you can do this? I looked at you. I said, I'm gonna do it.
You said.
And I went. They showed me where I'm gonna be staying. Took me to the apartments, and it was the best experience of my life. It's so hard to even explain the type of experience. It's something I've never seen before. It's something that I've never experienced anything like it. It's something I've never seen before. But so Colonel is such a powerful man.
Yes, he is.
So the founder, Colonel Lewis, is such a powerful man, and he's only gonna speak truth, and whether it hurt or not, that's a person I say when he talk, you better listen. So we get there, right, and I'm surrendered. I've been through so much. I'm so tired of this cycle that I've been going through. I'm willing to do at this point in my life anything that it takes to change my life. Whatever they say do, I'm willing to do at this point. So
mind you, man of Nehemiah don't make it easy for you.
No.
They don't make it easy for you. Now, man of Nehemiah is Christian based, but they're military structured.
Yeah, it's biblical, military, and they have counsel.
Yeah.
So you got the military, the biblical, and the clinical.
Yeah. So you will be put to the test.
Right.
So.
Right. So one of the things, I'm glad you brought that up. One of the things I want to say about Nehemiah is, if you're just looking for recovery, then that might not be the place for you. Because it's so much more than just recovery.
Mm-hmm.
They help you find the root cause. Why did you start drinking in the first place? Right? Mm-hmm. What happened in your life to cause you to start drinking? What are your character defects? Mm-hmm. I tell people all the time, I thought I was going there for recovery, but I didn't know I was going to find God. Mm-hmm. And so they have something that they call All City, where you got a group of men who meet in this room, and they got band, and they sing, and they worship God together. And I've never experienced nothing like that. I'm like, what? This is, but you can feel the Spirit of the Lord just moving through this room.
Yes.
And for a while, I was trying to hold my tears back, right? I'm trying to hold it in. Let me tell you something. I just let go. And that day in that room, when I let go, I feel like I let go of depression. I let go of hiding who I was. I let go of denial. I let go of all the pain that I was keeping to myself and holding in. I let go of so much when I let go that day. And I just let go and I surrendered. That's when God started to work.
Went to work.
That's when God, yeah. And so my relationship, I tell people, you can be a believer but not have a relationship. Right. I believe in God, right. But did I have a relationship? I never had a relationship. I never went to God about things and talked to God and communicate to God about things. I've always tried to deal with them on my own. Mm-hmm. The experience there in the relationship that place has, man, it's amazing. It's amazing. So it's like you said, it's a tough program. So you have the military, you got PT, you got to do these things, and it's not easy. It's not easy. But I like to tell people that ain't nothing worth having is easy. So anything worth having is gonna be hard work.
Well, you know what I say to that, especially with somebody that's battling with addiction. Addiction is not easy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's not easy either. So you meet with a counselor. They give you all these tools. You got this brotherhood that's everybody want to see everybody do the best, right? They want to be the best version. They want you to be the best version of yourself, and everybody rooting for you. You got to remember these biblical principles. You got to remember this Bible prayer. You got work to do. This ain't just you just go in there and sleep this 9 months. It's a 9-month program. You up at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning, right? Mm-hmm. You out there marching. You in the Word. You having AA classes through the day. You having biblical classes throughout the day. Mm-hmm. You meeting with your counselor. You having conversations with your counselor about where you at, how you feel. You have infractions to where if you do things against the rules, you're held accountable. They big on accountability. Yeah. It's a lot. You go to other places, other churches, and you get to worship with them, and you travel, to these other churches, and it's amazing. And the band, the choir director, everything is so well put together.
Yes, it's very powerful. That is the one thing that I really just took in. I mean, just to see so many men from all walks of life, from all race. Yeah. Just come together, and worship together, and hold each other up, and just, ministering with, with their vocals, and just loving on each other. You just don't see that. You don't see that much, and we need more of it. We need more of that. And that, and to meet so many young men that trying to get their lives together.
Yeah.
They all there for the same reasons.
Yeah. I tell people, if you ask me one of the greatest things about the program for me personally, right, that I experienced.
What does that look like?
Sometimes it's hard to see the change in yourself. So you can grow, but sometimes it's hard to recognize your own growth. The most powerful thing that happened to me is seeing what God could do in somebody else's life. And watching it from beginning all the way through. So being a house leader in the program, and having guys in the program that came after me, and seeing how broken these men was when they came into the program, and see who they become 3, 4, 5 months later, and how beautiful, and see that light come on, and see that glow, see that smile, see joy, genuine happiness from somebody who was just broken, and you got to experience that process in real time. The best thing ever happened to me. Because it created a love for seeing growth in others. I became almost addicted to it, right? That's why I'm always over there. That's why I'm so involved. That's why I talk to them. That's why, they always know that they can come talk to me, because that did something for me. They don't even know how much it helped me. It's some guys that was in my house that helped me more than I can ever help them. Just by seeing them grow like I did in real time. Because like I say, to see it in me, it may be difficult to see it in me. I know I got better, but when you're able to see it from the outside looking in,
Yeah.
And you see who this young man was, and you see who he is today.
Transformation.
Man, it's powerful. It's powerful. So a lot of times, and I learned to love. So they teach you about your character defects, right? They teach you about your character defects, which one of my biggest character defects is probably one of the worst character defects you can have, which was people pleasing. And that's the reason why I tried to become so many different people, and I had lost my own self and didn't know who I was, because I was always trying to be who I thought people would make people happy. I was people pleasing.
Mm.
And when I learned about character defects and I understood it created a sense of me to be able to accept people how they are. Because how can I look at you any different? Or how can I, look at you less than because of your character defects when I have character defects myself?
Right.
Furthermore, if God did what he did for me, the hope I got for you is through the roof.
Say that.
Yeah. So it created when I say I love them guys, I love them to death. Right? Because each one of them guys is Kendrick. Right?
Right.
Each one of them guys is Kendrick. And so I know what it feel like. I know what it feel like to feel like everything has been going wrong in your life. I prayed and talked to God years ago about wanting to be seen as, because I done wrong so much. I want to be seen as somebody who does the right thing. I want to be seen as somebody who can be an example, be a leader. That's who I am now.
Thank God.
That's who I am now. And I'll forever be connected. I'll forever be connected. The joy I get just seeing them guys and being around them and being in the community is I can't get that from nothing else. What I get at Men and Money, the happiness that it brings, there's nothing that can give me that, but seeing them guys grow, and that's the truth.
It's awesome.
So I experienced that, right, and I'm in the program. I'm getting closer to God. I'm reading the Bible, and things are starting to change. My mindset is the biggest thing. My mindset changed. I just told somebody at the barbershop, I can't even remember the last time I had a bad day. I don't know when the last time I had a bad day. Because when you work in the AA steps, it teaches you to accept the things that you cannot change, the courage to change the things that you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I haven't had a bad day, for one, because things that I can't change, I don't worry about because I can't change it. And the things that I can change, I don't worry about it because I change it. So and I don't allow other people to change my energy, right? Because people not perfect. I feel like the world would be a better place if everybody just acknowledged that nobody's perfect. So I can't get mad at you, sister. I can't get mad at you, brother, because you did something that I don't like. You're not perfect just like I'm not perfect. No, what I'm more concerned about, how can we get better? Talk to me about that.
Yeah.
How can we move forward?
I think it's a lot better if you are, if you really want to help somebody to see their self-worth, you encourage them, not degrade them.
Absolutely.
Even in their mess.
Absolutely.
And you don't stop loving.
Yeah. Yeah. And
that's what the enemy wants.
That's good.
That's what the enemy wants us to do is, give up on them.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. And you know, I think a lot of times we get lost on how do we help.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like what is help? Especially to somebody in that situation. The truth is, it's only so much help you can do until they're ready. Because a lot of the things that we think is help is really hindering them from seeking the help.
Enabling.
The truth is, an addict has to have enough pain to want the help for themselves.
Yeah.
You have to realize that you can't do it for mama. You can't do it for it starts with you. Because if you make sure you're the best version of you being the best version for your family automatically come into play.
So that really makes me, you know, because I really feel that, you know, me being so involved in you and your brother's life, you know, there every step of the way, you know, through the dark, stormy times and during the, you know, good times, you know, I'm there, you know. So I'm thinking, am I not worth them getting help? Not worth them, you know, doing what it takes to, you know, get on the right path and straightening life out to make me a proud mom.
Right. So let's talk about that a little bit. And you talking about in the addiction, right? Like, so it's a disease, and you have the obsession and you have the allergy. So the obsession would tell you that you're capable of doing this and getting your life together. This obsession told me that, well, I know I done wrecked 2 cars. I know I done did this. I know I done did that. Maybe I should drink on the weekend instead of on the weekday. Maybe I should drink beer instead of drinking liquor. Maybe I can have 1 or 2 drinks. Not an alcoholic, not an addict. That's not possible. An addict has no control over the consumption. I've never had 2 drinks ever in my life, but the obsession would tell me, I'm gonna go to this club, I'm gonna host this club tonight, I'm gonna cut it off at 2. Yeah, okay. That's exactly what I thought I was gonna do. But what was the end result? I woke up the next morning on the side of the curb. The obsession doesn't allow you to think logically. That's why the steps are so important. That's why having a sponsor is so important. And the allergy, so the obsession is telling you you can do it. The allergy is more. So what the allergy is going to do, now you done triggered. Now the allergy told you can take 1 shot, but the obsession told you can take 1 shot, but now the allergy is like, you need another one. You need another one. You need another one. After this one, you'll be done. After this one, you'll be done.
Wow.
That's why what they called me was I was a binge drinker. I can go 2 or 3 weeks without drinking. My problem is once I start drinking, it wasn't no stopping, unless I didn't have nothing else to drink. That's why it's so important to be educated on the disease as well. One of the things that the program, there's no way that I will understand addiction how I understand addiction if it wasn't for the men in Nehemiah. Yeah, I didn't know about the obsession. I didn't know about the allergy. I didn't know about, you know, giving it to God and leaning on a higher power. You know, I was trying to do this myself. How many times have I said I want to stop drinking? How many times have I said I'm not going to do this no more? How many times? Yeah, and no matter how bad it got, I continue to do it because you can't do it on your own, and that's the truth. You can't do it on your own. You can't do it. You have to lean on God. Colonel used to say, I heard him say, he used to say, if you depend on man, they'll fail you every time, right? If you depend on, that's what men do. We fail. We human, right? But God won't.
No.
And that's why in the AA steps, you have to lean on the higher power. You have to lean on God. You have to, because if you try to do it yourself, you may do good for a little while, but that's out of your control. But the good thing about it is God also lift the obsession, and that's where I'm at today. No desire, don't even cross my mind. What did it was when I found out that I can be happy sober, it changed the game. I forgot. I think it was maybe Matt, one of the guys, and it had hit me that I was happy and I was sober. And I looked at him. I said, "Oh, the devil done messed up now. The devil done messed up now. You let me find out I can be happy sober. Oh, it's a game changer. Game over now.
Wow.
Game
That's
over.
good.
Game over." I think what's really important though when it comes to addiction, and I was just talking to a friend of mine named Kevin about this, what's very important when it comes to addiction is it's a very sneaky disease. And what happened is you will be doing good and it's old behaviors that are try to creep in. And it's not saying that it's gonna go from you doing good to boom, you drinking. But what the old behaviors will creep in, and then you'll start doing things that'll lead you to being around those that you shouldn't be around, being in those environments that you shouldn't be in. But it don't happen subtle. It happens so it's such a sneaky way of doing it, because it'll start simple as a conversation, or let me stop by here, or let me see how they doing, or that's the disease. Right? And it's not like I'm saying, it's not like you just go from I was sober then boom, I relapse.
Putting you in situations.
It's putting you in situations. So
atmosphere.
It's putting you, but it's slowly. It happens. It's slow behaviors that you start to pick up, and then you will notice when you look back, or some people even realize they look at it and they like, I stopped doing this. I started doing this. I started doing this. It didn't just happen abruptly. It happened little by little, right? It try to ease its way back into your life because you've been doing this so long. So this a behavior that your body's so used to that it'll start going back to doing what it know. I was blessed. I told these guys in the meeting. I don't know how much time we got. I told the guys in the meeting that I told them that one of the best things that I've learned, and then we bring it to an end. One of the best things that I've learned is that before I was hitting the wall trying to find out why my head was hurting, right? And God is still healing the blind, and you know, now that's what He did for me. He's delivering me from being blind, right? I was blind, I couldn't see. I was hitting the wall wondering why my head was hurting. I knew my head was hurting, I just didn't know why. And He delivered me now, and not saying I'm perfect, I still may hit the wall, but now I can identify what caused my head to hurt and go around and go a different way.
Yes. So
I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but before I couldn't see what was causing so much damage in my life. Now I'm able to identify it. Just like today, now I'm able to identify when a disease is creeping up. Well, I'm able to identify when Satan is on attack, right? And I'm able to point it out. And it's all by the grace of God that He has opened my eyes to be able to identify evilness, wickedness, problems, and things that would basically that I would walk right into a year ago.
Thank you. Yes.
Today is my sobriety birthday.
Yes.
June 18th, y'all. And it's such an honor to be able to share my story with you guys on my sobriety birthday. June 18th, I made a year of sobriety today, which is a very big accomplishment. You know, and I got to say, you know, thank the Lord for His grace and His mercy for even making this possible. Thank the whole Nehemiah for helping me get here. and my beautiful mom, my family, everybody who support me.
Today is 18th? No.
Yes.
No.
Thank y'all so much. You got anything else?
Today is the 18th.
Yes.
Today is also your brother's birthday.
Yes. Yeah. And I forgot to mention, because I came in on Reggie's birthday into Nehemiah, and then I graduated on our birthday. Me and my mom got the same birthday. We born on March 8th. And so I came in on Reggie's birthday. Happy birthday, Reggie. Love you.
Happy birthday, son. We love you.
And
should be here.
and graduated on my birthday, which was amazing.
Yes.
Which was amazing. Which graduated on your birthday.
On my birthday. On our birthday.
You got any last words that you like to say, or anything that you?
This been really amazing. It's been a long time coming. I'm so grateful for God's mercy and God's grace that, He has kept His hands on both of my sons. And I'm going to be sharing my story as well.
Yep. This episode 1, episode 2 will be Mama J sharing her story. I can't wait for this. I'm looking forward to this. What better way to start off Scars Can Talk with being vulnerable, and giving you all of us,
All of us. Yes.
Giving you all of us, man, it's been such a great experience.
And we want to invite, you to come with us and give us all of you.
Yes. Well, thank you again, Mom, for meeting me and doing this with me. I'm looking forward to the next episode. Y'all remember, Scars Can Talk. Like, subscribe, share. Make sure to follow the platforms. We got some good stuff coming. We got some fruit. It's all about being fruitful, baby. We love y'all. We'll see y'all soon.
See you soon.
Scars Can Talk.
Makeup, something I had to earn, but it's water in the morning and letting my body learn. This clean skin, soft light, this rest that shows in my eyes. This is how I hold my shoulders when I stop living rough.